voice.
All right, yeah. Yo, what's good, baby? It's your boy Marcus Davis with
Kelsey.
and
Kirsten.
Clark.
That's me.
I don't get a last name?
Nah.
Okay.
And this is Sound Advice. So, this episode we're gonna have some special topics for y'all. We're gonna run through a couple of them. For our first segment, we've got our first time being bullied.
Let's get vulnerable.
Oh.
I like that. Let's get vulnerable. Okay. All right. So our first time getting bullied. I guess we should just start with our first time. Do y'all remember being bullied for the first time? Because I don't remember that.
Do you not?
I don't, because I feel like I had to be little, but I don't remember that specifically.
All right. Well, when do you remember getting bullied in general?
Okay, you want to start, Kelsey?
Sure.
Just because I feel like you said you had a story, so.
Let's hear it. I don't know. In general, I think I was pretty lucky because, like, not that any kid deserves to be bullied, but if there was one kid that deserved to be bullied, it was probably me.
What do you mean you deserve to get bullied?
Just because, I don't know, like, when I was little, like, my mom died, and then, like, when she was gone, like, I didn't have anyone to, like, do my hair or, like, dress me or anything. So I was that kid with, like, raggy hair. I wore, like, my dad's T-shirts that were, like, super baggy and huge.
As a child?
Yes. Like, I was, like, very boyish, and I didn't know how to dress or do anything. I had acne. I was a little chubby. I had bad teeth. I wore braces for 6 years. I had glasses. I was nerdy. I don't even know what I listed already, but all of the above.
Oh, you sounded like a cutie.
No.
Like a cute little kid.
It was awful. Like, I should have been targeted, but luckily I wasn't, except for one experience that I can recall on the school bus. Because the school bus is awful.
Yep, you gotta love that ratchet bus.
Yep. But, okay, so I sat, like, we had assigned seats on the bus. So I sat with this one girl, I'll call her Muffy. But the girl in front of me, I'll call her Heather because that was her name and I hate her.
Calling you out, Heather. What's up?
But anyway.
Calling you
Now
out.
I'm curious, which one?
You don't know her, I don't think. She was like a grade above us.
Damn.
What
But-
grade were you in at the time?
This was middle school, so probably like 7th, 8th grade, 6th grade, I don't know. Probably 6th grade.
All right.
But anyway, like, for some reason, I guess because I looked the way I did, Heather, she, like, I don't know, she did a couple things. One of them was she pretty much thought I liked girls, which shouldn't, like, inherently be insulting because it's, like, whatever. But I think when you're that age and, like, sexuality is such a weird thing, like, if they think that way, like, they're gonna torment you.
Mm-hmm.
And so this girl was, like, very condescending. And she, like, for some reason thought I liked Muffy, who sat with me. And Muffy was also friends with her, and they were, like, kind of in on it together.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It was weird. But, like, Heather would turn around and she would be like, oh, do you like Muffy, Kelsey? And I was like, as a friend? Because I didn't, like, know what else to say. And
Yeah,
but
that's my best friend.
no, I hated her. But I was just, like, civil because I had to sit with her.
Wait, you got assigned seats on the bus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you didn't
man,
get in
that's
trouble?
even worse
I
than my bus. At least I didn't have assigned seats.
Some years we didn't, but that year we did. And
Oh,
I hated
man.
it. But yeah, so she was like that. And then also, a different kind of story. Again, I was, like, a very boyish child, so I never really wore, like, makeup or anything like that. But I think one day I really wanted to just try it because I was like, oh, I should look like all the other girls and be pretty. So I think I stole my sister's, like, foundation, and it was liquid foundation. And I put it on, and I was on the bus, and Heather turns around, and she's like, Kelsey, what's that on your shirt? Is that foundation? Are you trying to wear makeup? And, like, because I guess I got some of my shirt, and it was
Yeah.
so upsetting.
Oh, this is upsetting now.
Yeah,
I
feel
know.
bad.
It was awful. And then she got closer. She was like, oh, it looks so obvious. And I was like, okay,
Oh my god.
I want to die.
And that's on the way to school, right?
Yes,
Like
yes.
you literally
Wait,
starting
that
your
was
day
on your
off.
way to school?
Yes.
That's horrible.
Yes.
These kids are ruthless.
So I think I, like, went to the bathroom and, like, wiped it off my face. I don't even remember. But it was very upsetting.
So
Yeah.
did this happen all year?
Yeah, basically. It was, like, an ongoing thing. Like, she was always just very brutal to me. And I remember her being very religious, and I was like, I'm not religious, but one day the very Lord that you pray to is going to strike down and get you. And one day,
You did not say this to her, did
The
you?
No,
Lord
no,
will
I
come
thought
and
this in my head.
strike you.
I thought this in my head. I was like, ooh. But one day, like, the bus comes up to her bus stop, and, like, it's there for a long time. And all of a sudden, Heather comes wobbling up the steps. Not wobbling, I don't know. She's, like, whatever. She's on crutches.
Kind of limping, yeah.
Yeah, limping. She's on crutches, and she makes her way to the back of the bus, and I'm like, ooh, what happened? And so, like, she sits down, and everybody's like, what happened? And she, I guess she was like a really rich girl too. Like she was one of those girls.
This sounds like a movie.
Yeah,
that
Sounds
was
like
true.
a movie.
No, but apparently she had like a rock cliff like by her house, like behind her house, and she would climb it. And I guess she climbed all the way to the top, and then she fell.
Oh my god.
And
She got tore up.
as soon as she's told the story, I started laughing, and like everybody looked at me, but I was like, whatever, haha.
Was she like the popular girl on the bus?
I don't even know. Like I think guys liked her because she was like that pretty girl. But she was awful. She was terrible. But so she fell and she hurt herself. But then like I guess a week later, like something happened where like she couldn't recover and like she just didn't ride the bus anymore. And she was gone and I was like, see ya.
And she never got back.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I actually never saw her again. I don't know if she kept going to school.
Now that is a story.
Imagine she dropped out and everything, and like what you said came true. Everything just
Yeah, the
came
Lord
down on her.
just struck down.
I ain't mad. But no, she was terrible.
Dang.
And so was Muffy. I hated Muffy. Muffy was like fake nice to me, but she was in on it and ooh.
Dang.
So that was
So
my story.
so it kind of didn't have a resolution. Is kind of what you're saying. Like
Kinda, yeah.
The
Like I
resolution
didn't.
was that she got it coming.
true.
Yeah,
and the
karma.
karma struck her.
Yeah, karma. But yeah, that's basically it. Like I never really confronted her. Like I think she knew I didn't like her, but I never like confronted her. I never addressed it to anybody else. So I was just like silently suffering.
Dang.
until
So you
one
didn't
day-
even tell anyone?
Nah,
Dang. See, that's sad when like
She
kids
fought
go
that
through stuff
battle,
like that.
man, on her own.
I know.
I mean, that's sad. Like every day on the bus. Like I feel like that would be dreadful.
It was
Like,
awful.
Especially with the assigned seats. Like, you can't choose to sit somewhere else.
Yep.
Like, that's messed up.
Yep.
well, that's a problem with stuff like science teams because bullies have it way easier.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge thing. I feel like on buses and buses in general are a huge place where kids get bullied all the time.
I feel like I probably could have like talked to the bus driver and been like, "Hey, can you change my seat?" But like I don't know. I think I was ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming a lot of kids are.
When you're little, like you never think of stuff like that. Honestly.
Yeah. But they should.
That's crazy. All right, well, I mean, when I was a kid, this is first grade. I can remember this. I don't remember what I did to combat it, but I remember what they called me. Some kids, I don't even remember who they were. But one kid called me SpongeBob because I had these two huge front teeth at the time.
Oh.
So, like, all my teeth were gone, pretty much. I had, like, all these baby teeth except for my two front teeth. They're, like, almost fully grown adult teeth. So,
No.
like, I really did look like SpongeBob. But, like, they called me SpongeBob, and they called me Bucktooth Beaver.
That's rough.
Like, that was, I mean, I still remember that. I mean, that was first grade. But I don't remember what I did. I don't remember what happened. I mean, they called me that, like, one time.
One time.
Yeah, and then, like, it just never happened again. Now, fourth grade, I do remember there was this guy, and I was friends with his stepbrother, which was weird, but he didn't like me, whatever. Anyway, so this one guy back in fourth grade, he didn't like me because I was the new kid. So I moved schools, and I was the new kid in class. And then he would just always make fun of me. Anytime I would do something, he'd be like, yeah, you're so lame or something like that. You know, you got no friends. And he would always say the dreaded phrase that I still remember was, go hump a hippo. A hippo, yeah. He would go say, go hump a hippo. And then I was like, yo, I hate you so much. You know, I remember one day I just yelled it back at him. You hump a hippo. I was like, yo, like, that's so immature.
That
But,
sounds like a movie.
But yeah, it really was terrible. And so one day I just lost it because we were on a tetherball. No, we were playing tag. That's what we were playing tag. And then we was freeze tag. So like I was running up to people trying to tag them since I was the freezer.
Yeah.
But anytime I would go up to tag them, they would say, "Oh, I'm not playing." So I was like, "All right, cool. I'm just gonna go for somebody else." And then while my back is turned, they're out there unfreezing people. You know what I'm saying? So like they're unfreezing people as if they're actually playing. And I was like, wow, that's injustice. So anyway, he was one of the guys who was doing that, and then I almost fought the dude.
Like actually fought?
Yeah.
Over freeze tag.
Yeah, I fought his stepbrother over tetherball though.
Oh.
Yeah, I was kind of violent. Anyway, after all that, I pledged pacifism. So I'm not about that anymore. But yeah, I mean, if all else fails, just start throwing some fists.
So fourth grade, like, do you remember what you did to stop that, or do you think it just kind of stopped when you guys were almost fighting or something?
Yeah, I think that was really what happened. I mean, the tension was so high that, I mean, the fight kind of just escalated everything, and then it just kind of settled out, just simmered down afterwards. He didn't really mess with me, and I didn't really mess with him. But yeah, I remember one day I stood up, and I would try to do this in like a very peaceful way. And I said, hey, you think that you're all cool because you can bully people and stuff? I remember like I actually said this. This was in class. The teacher wasn't there. I don't know what was happening, but like the teacher wasn't there. and he was just bullying me. So I was like, yeah, you think you can just do this? Like, nobody's really your friend. They're just pretending that they're your friend so you don't bully them, you know? And then he was like, that's a lie. Like, raise your hand if you're my friend. And like the whole class raised their hands. And I felt so embarrassed.
Aw.
That's awful.
Yeah, I was like, dang. I tried. I tried.
That's even worse though. Like, come on, guys, we're pointing out this bully. No one sides with you.
Yeah, nobody. So I was like, wow.
I'm curious if you bullied anyone else, or
Maybe that's why they were raising their hands.
Who, me?
No, the other kids.
Oh,
well,
that guy?
that meant they were their friends, his friends though.
But what if they were like bullied into being his friend?
I mean, I don't think so. I think they were actually friends. I mean, it was just me because I was just a new kid. So, like, you know, they had their friend group, and then I was just kind of the kid who didn't have the friend group yet. So I was kind of just the outsider.
That's the worst thing in school. If you don't have a friend group, like, that's probably the worst feeling ever. Especially, like, later on, when you're older even, or, like, I don't know, what's middle school? Goes up to...
It goes up to 8th grade.
So, like, 6th grade, okay, you don't have friends, not too bad. You still have some time. 8th grade, if you don't have a friend group, like, you feel terrible. Because everyone else already established that. And at least for me and Kelsey, those people, a lot of them went to the high school because it was, like, literally right next door. So those friends groups are already kind of established, and then if you enter high school without any, you know, you're starting off on a bad foot. I feel like it's just a terrible thing.
Yeah.
It was interesting, though. I mean, the experience was something that I can definitely remember, and it's caused me to be the way I am today with pacifism. So, I mean, I would not recommend fighting people as the solution to getting bullied, but I guess sometimes it just happens like that.
So
I was just too emotional.
you actually, like, at that point said you're not going to fight anymore? Like, is that actually...
Yeah, like it really happened. Like I was in the fight. I was fighting his brother and him, and then what ended up happening was they told the teacher because there were some punks. but yeah, they told the teacher. The teacher came at me. She gave me a referral, and then I was like, from then on, I was like, yo, I'm never gonna fight again, and I didn't.
Dang, that's
Yeah.
pretty young.
Yeah.
So pledged pacifism at 4th grade.
Nice. Congrats.
Congrats, bro.
But yeah, it's actually crazy though, because somebody else tried to fight me back in 8th grade for some dumb reason, just off topic. But he said I was talking about his girlfriend. I didn't even know the guy had a girlfriend, much less was talking about her. So he was like in my gym class, met me in the locker room, and he's like, "Yeah, you talking about my girl, bro? You talking about my girl, bro?" Like, and he's like pushing me and stuff on the locker. I was like, "Dude, I'm not gonna fight you." And then he literally just tried to fight me until he realized I wasn't gonna fight him, and then he just walked off. And that's the way you solve situations, my friend.
Was that still 4th grade?
No, that was 8th grade.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, that was 8th grade.
Yeah, fights and actually, I saw more fights in middle school than high school.
Totally, yeah.
Like, middle school, I feel like that age group is just, no one talks about it. No one wants to talk about it because everyone's crazy. Like, kids that age are insane.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a transitional phase, you know, it's a
Very
transitional
mean.
stage. And kids are definitely off the wire at the time. They are off the chain.
Off the chain. But yeah, at least me and Kelsey talk about this sometimes, but like a lot of times we had it lucky because we were friends with these really mean girls that would bully other people,
Oh, yeah.
but like not us for some reason. Like middle school, but like I had these random friends that were like very mean and gossipy to other people, but like to me they were very friendly, and I just try to keep that up because I don't want them to bully me.
Yeah, you didn't want to be one of the outcasts.
They would literally like, get in fights, like fist fights, or I think we talked about this, but pants people in gym.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Constantly.
Dude,
they would pants you.
I was scared for my life. I would like tie my shorts real tight, but they never tried to do it to me because I was friends with those people.
yeah, I never even had it try to be done to me because I was friends with them, luckily.
Yeah.
But
Guess put a double knot in them pants.
Literally.
but
I
yeah,
was like,
for some
"Please don't."
reason in middle school that was a thing, pantsing. Like
Yes. We had like this huge hill outside of our gym, and like we would like run down it, and there was like all the fields and stuff. So like as people are going down this hill, people would like run up like pants people. Sometimes they would trip because they're going down a hill.
That's so
It was
messed up.
crazy.
That's
But
messed
it's a
up.
middle school. Like why are you pulling people's pants down?
And it's
Like,
humiliating. Like it's terrible. I don't know.
I know. I feel like the gym
Just
teachers,
standing up in your britches.
Yeah.
the gym teachers like didn't do that much about it.
I don't even know if they noticed.
I don't know. I feel like they should have. Like,
Yeah, it was very
hello.
obvious.
Yo, I got bullied by this one kid who was back when I was dating this girl. He was her cousin, right? I was at her house at the time talking to one of her friends. So like it's just me and her just chilling talking. She was an old friend of mine. And then the cousin, and he's like, I was probably like 16, and the cousin was like maybe 11. you know? And so, anyway, he's like running around with his friends or whatever. And then, like, he comes to me while I'm talking to the girl, and like, we're both standing up. And then he just pantses me right in front of my friend. Right? And so, like, and then she's just looking at me in my underwear, like, oh, hello there. And so I quickly pull up my pants, right? And then he does it again. Right? So, anyway, at this point, I was like, yo, I'm going to leave this guy alone. I'm not going to entertain him, right? Whatever. So, I'm just chilling in my underwear talking to my friend, right? And then he comes back and then pulls down my underwear.
Goodbye.
Yo, right in front of the girl, man.
That like assault.
That
Yeah.
was, yo, it was so
You
embarrassing.
could have pressed charges.
The girl should have pressed charges.
True.
Hey, man, nah, it wasn't my fault.
No, not against you, but
Against him?
yeah, you could have. Actually, you probably could have pressed charges and like not like being serious. You could have probably.
Yeah, I probably could have, but I mean, it was
you
just
were
that
a
little
kid,
kid, and like, it was just
No, yeah.
embarrassing, and I was like, whatever.
When you're a kid, you don't think at all like that most of the time.
Awful though.
Yeah, man, I mean, I was just straight up naked from the waist down in front of this girl. And, yeah, that was very humiliating. Anyway, she went to tell my girlfriend, and then she's like, oh, my God, I saw your boyfriend's stuff, whatever. And then, like, my girlfriend was mad because she was like, and then this is literally what she said. She was like, what? I didn't see it? And then I was like, wow, this is insane. What is happening? I was like, what is happening?
Too young for that.
We should move
I know,
on.
I was going to say, I was 16 years old, man. Anyway, it was a funny story. Just reminded me that when you said, when you were talking about pants and people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But Kirsten, you got any other personal experiences?
Yeah. So it sounds very sad now, but like I'm grown. I'm okay now. But middle school, I had very bad acne, and for some, like people, I don't know. I had this weird thing where I thought like everyone was staring at me all the time. Like it was very like a lot of it was probably self-inflicting.
Yeah.
Like I literally didn't want to go to school a lot of the time because like people are looking at me, or like if I passed people like whispering, I was like, oh, it's probably about me. You know, like weird mental thing.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was because this kid, his name's Andrew. Shout out Andrew.
What's up? What's up, bro?
Do I know him?
I don't think so, but I'll tell you after.
Okay.
I like record podcast. But every afternoon we had this car rider line, and you don't have to sit anywhere. You could sit anywhere you wanted, but it was just like this area you waited for your parents to pick you up. And this kid would always, like, I had this little area I sat with my friend. I think I saw like one or two friends at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And he would always like purposely come up to me, and he would just like make fun of me until my parents came. Like he would be like pizza face and like terrible names and stuff.
Pizza face. Wow, I've never heard that one
Really?
before.
That's very common.
Yeah.
Really?
Um,
Dang.
and he would just be brutal for like forever. Like I didn't, and like again, like Kelsey said, like I didn't want to tell anyone. I didn't know what to do. Like I just sat there like, quietly, and it was so sad too because my friend was pretty quiet, so like he didn't say anything either.
Yeah.
But obviously it was like terrible.
That's worse that it's in front of your friend.
Yeah, y'all
Yeah.
just getting traumatized in front of your squad.
Oh my God. And like a lot of times too, there's a picnic table behind where I sat, and he would sit with his friends and like say stuff loudly to me so like all his friends could hear. So it was like very, very traumatizing. And I think that's why like I had a lot of, what's the word? Self-doubt.
Consciousness.
Yeah. Like I was very self-conscious when I was in middle school. When I was in middle school, I was very self-conscious. And all because of this one kid, which is upsetting because like all my friends are very nice about it because like I did have pretty bad acne, but obviously like you shouldn't make fun of it. So but this one kid, he like, it was like I think it was 7th grade. It was just like for the entire year. I don't really know why I didn't like move, but I feel like in my head I was like, this is my spot and he's not making me move or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't ever really say anything because I was like, it was weird. It was like this gut feeling of like, oh, I know he's gonna be there and I don't know what to do kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a very not good time. But I, like Marcus said, it definitely changed how I am today. Like I feel like it made me a lot more empathetic to other people, especially that age, like your middle school, beginning of high school, like everyone's changing and stuff. And like, you have to remember a lot of the stuff people can't control no matter what, even like weight or something. Like a lot of people can't control that when they're that young because of hormones and stuff. So I think it just made me a lot more empathetic, which I'm grateful for. And yeah, at the time I'd never dealt with it well, which is like what we can kind of talk about how we deal with bullying. But personally, when I was that young, like I did not know how to deal with it. I probably should have told my parents or something, but I just kind of kept it bottled inside, which is not what you should be doing. But I have to say, like, a good tip for bullying is after the fact, after all that, like, when you have your friend group or your support, whoever it may be, like, remember just to be who you are still underneath that. Like, this one person attacking you should not change who you are and, you know, how you act around your friends and stuff like that.
I think if anything, it tells more about the person bullying you than it does about you. Like,
For sure.
That makes them the bad person. And I think that's kind of the one thing with, like, being bullied. Like, you always know you're kind of on the right side, at least.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're not the bad guy in that scenario. Like, you're kind of like the victim. So, obviously, those people are worse than you and worse off than you, and they need some personal growing. So, at least you can kind of have, like, that, like, self-satisfaction that, like, hey, I'm probably better than this person. At least in that way. So, yeah, but I don't know, dealing with it, I think, can be tough. Like, obviously, I was sad about it, but I think when I was younger, I don't know, I was kind of confident. I don't know why, because I shouldn't have been, but I was just like,
Now
all right.
you were a boss, man.
No, I just, like, didn't care. Like, I was just apathetic, I think.
That's what's up.
But obviously I still, like, hold it in and I resent it today. But, like, I think it really turned to anger and not, like, anger towards myself, at least, so that's
Yeah.
good. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my advice would be. Just, like, don't, like, take it and don't say, hey, this defines me, like Kirsten said.
Yeah, I would say, especially since like our stories were stories around a time when we were a lot younger, because as kids we are really influenced by stuff that happens to us.
Yeah.
Like how you were saying, like, you know, stuff that happened to us through bullying has caused us to have certain you know, characteristics today. You know, so it's like carried on with us through all this time. So I mean, as kids, you know, we usually don't do very much about it because, you know, we're kids. It's like, what do we know? We don't know what to do. I mean, I feel like the best thing to do would really be just tell your parents, you know, tell your mom, tell your dad, and then have them deal with it. Because, like, your parents will help keep you, I guess, you know, on the right track. Like, your parents will, like, encourage you, be like, nah, you know, what they said, you know that's not true, all that kind of stuff. Give you all that love and support that you need. And then they might go to, you know, the kid's parents and then tell them, you know, what's happening with the two of you. And then they'll tell their kid what's up. And, you know, it'll all just kind of work itself out.
But then sometimes you're a rat and it worsens it.
Yeah. That's the other part, though.
Well, and I think that's why a lot of kids don't say anything. Is
Yeah.
because
They don't want to feel like a rat.
yeah, well
snitch.
I don't snitching on your
Tattletale.
bully is not snitching. But
Yeah.
the dynamics of friend groups and what if they're friends with some of yours or what you're scared of who they're going to tell. You know, it's scary when you're young because the social aspect of it is a lot more important to you at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think there's different kinds of bullying. Like in middle school focuses around like mostly like physical traits, I think, when bullying. Like most people just go for what you look like in middle school or high school. So at the time those are like they really suck and it's hard to look past it. But like as you get older you realize, you know, you learn more about yourself and you accept more of how you look. And because you have to, you have one body. So I think as time goes on, like Marcus said, not that it like works itself out, but time definitely heals a lot of that stuff as you begin to accept yourself.
Yeah. Now, you're saying that there's different kinds of bullying. Like in middle school, you said there was like, you know, physical attributes for bullying. That was the target.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as people grow up, like let's say they're our age, I mean, what would bullies target? Would they target still physical attributes, or would it be like your career choices? Would it be, I mean, I don't know. What would it be?
I mean, yeah, I think part of it could still be physical stuff, but also, yeah, like your career, like a lot of people personally that I know will like shame like people who are like waiters or like,
Yeah.
you know, servers, like people in retail. And it's like, just because they don't have the same like career track as you or like maybe ambition as you do, like that doesn't make them any worse off than you. And like, maybe they're trying to reach some kind of goal. I don't know. Like that's their life. They can do whatever they want.
And a lot of people really love being servers and working in retail, and that's just kind of where they want to end up. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like that shouldn't be like ashamed, or because first of all, we have to have people doing that. So like, if you don't want them to do it, you know, are you going to do it yourself? And second of all, like a lot of people do want to do that as a career, you know, and that's just something they're passionate about. But it's also funny because I think when we get older, we don't call it bullying really anymore.
Yeah.
But
What do
it
we call
is
it? Hazing?
Easy.
No, but like when, like she said, shaming or talking down to people, like it's funny. We don't call it for what it is, which is bullying, you know, because a lot of people think adults can't be bullies, but that's not true.
No,
So,
for real, it's the truth.
yeah.
People think bullying it really is like a little kid type thing.
Yeah,
But that's just like, one of the first times we experience it.
very true.
But yeah, definitely. I mean, people are bullies at any age. So,
Also, we didn't really address this at all, but do you think you should like forgive people who bullied you?
of course, always forgive. Forgive and forget.
Is-
Forgive and maybe not forget.
Well, keep going, Marcus. Do you have like any more?
I mean, I would say, yeah, I think just forgiveness is good because forgiveness will help you move on, even if it doesn't help the situation. I mean, like, you forgive them, you kind of like take some pressure or some stress off of your heart. So you say, hey, you did this to me, it's whatever, I'm okay with it, I forgive you. And then you feel better. And I guess it makes you feel like a better person too. You just seem like a greater individual for being that forgiving and understanding.
Kelsey?
I think to some extent, and I agree with you. But also, I don't know, like, kids, obviously people can grow and, like, obviously regret the decisions they made. But I think sometimes if people are just, like, brutal to you, I don't know if you should always forgive them. Like Marcus said, kind of maybe, like, forgive but don't forget. Like, always keep that in the back of your mind in case you have to deal with them later on in life or something. But also, I think, I don't know, you should grow from the experience and you should get, like, closure with it. But it doesn't always have to be forgiveness, in my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree. I like the idea. I think it's a nice idea to say, like, move on and, like, forgive them. Like, if you're, I guess, a bigger person or something, you could do that. Personally, like, I don't think of it like that. Like, the person who bullied me, I don't forgive them at all. And I think, hopefully, like, the only thing that could be forgiven is if they realize what they did in their past and they were like, wow, I was really shitty as a kid. I'm glad I'm not like that anymore. But I don't know them, so I don't know how they feel anymore. So I can't, I don't think you should have to forgive someone that, like, treated you like that, especially if you didn't treat them like that. But moving on from it, and like Kelsey said, closure can be somewhere else. Like, it could be just inside of you and, like, you know what, like, they are shitty for that, but guess what? Look where I am now, or something like that. So,
I think it's interesting you said that. I feel like, especially since we don't owe people who, hurt us forgiveness, I think it's like if we forgive them anyway, like, that just gives us even more closure. Like, just the fact that we forgive them, even though they don't deserve our forgiveness.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from. And there were some people who hurt my feelings in ways that I didn't want to forgive them. But, I mean, my mom will always say, Marcus, you got to forgive all of your oppressors or whatever. And so that's how I be doing it.
All right. And with that little closure, we're going to move on to our next segment. This one's interesting, fun, nice,
Is it?
lighter. So segment 2 is about crushes.
Wait, I thought you said this was fun and nice.
True.
God, that was like a scripted.
Time to get vulnerable again.
True though.
Time to get vulnerable. Yo, for real.
All right. So obviously crushes as in people that you like but are not in a relationship with.
It's not people we've crushed.
All right. Sorry. Just to clarify. No rocks are being thrown.
Oh.
All right. So first we're going to talk about kind of with the bullying. Our first crushes really quick and just fun little stories. So how about Kelsey?
Uh-oh.
I just picked you out of a hat.
Out of hat. I feel like Kirsten always talks about how she didn't have crushes till, like, later on in life, but I had them, like, very early. Kindergarten. I like this kid.
Kindergarten. She
out of the
started off
womb,
right.
kindergarten.
She started off early, my friend.
No, there was this kid. I won't say his name. Cliffy. Yeah, Cliffy. And it was just like a dumb little kid crush. I don't even know if kids can, like, really get crushes. Like, is that a thing? Like,
I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you.
like, to me, like, I thought, I was like, I'm gonna marry this kid, but, like, I didn't know him. Like, I think it was just like
I think that's a crush though, of like you see him from a distance and you think
from a
like
distance.
you're.
That's cute.
I think
That's cute.
it's more like imitation though, because you're like seeing adults who are like married. And
That's
stuff.
true.
But I don't know. I've read articles about it. But anyway, so Cliffy, I remember I invited him to my pool party. I think I invited like everyone in the class.
I
'cause
wasn't
that's what-
invited.
Yeah, but he got VIP. Huh?
Yep. No, I feel
tub.
like I've told you the what?
Yeah, you get the jacuzzi. You get the jacuzzi treatment.
Get out the margaritas.
Get out the apple juice box.
But no, so we invited everyone from our class, and I think I told you guys this, but like he couldn't swim, I guess, but like I totally could because my dad was a lifeguard. He had a
Hey.
pool.
Oh, your pops was a lifeguard.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he loves swimming. He was like a not professional swimmer, but he swam in college.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so Cliffy was at our pool and he couldn't swim, so he wore like the little arm.
Yeah, the cute little.
What are they called?
Swimmies?
We'll call
I
them
don't know.
swimmies.
Swimmies.
Floaties. I think it's
Kirsten
floaties.
hates
No.
It's the floaties, right? They're called floaties.
Yeah.
Sure, he
Yeah.
wore floaties around his arms, and I could totally swim, but I was like, "Mom, I want to wear floaties too," because I wanted to like be on his level. And she was like, "But you can swim, Kelsey," and I was like, "No, I want to wear the floaties."
Kelsey
And-
was such a. I mean, that's really sweet, though. I mean, I think that's really sweet because, like, especially like when we're talking about bullying, right? I mean, because I feel like that's something that people could get bullied for. You know, like
Not
that
being able
kid
to swim.
couldn't swim, and let's say everybody else could. You know,
Mhm.
like that could be a target, and then like you just wearing or wanting to wear the floaties just so he wasn't alone. And also
Or
'cause he
did
was
she just
alone.
wear them for fashion?
No, I wanted to wear him because he was
She
wearing
wore them
them.
because they were stylish.
Can-
Yes.
Okay, keep going.
But no, but I think I just ended up wearing them, and I like kind of tried to bond with him over that, which is really weird.
Look,
as a
we're both
5-year-old.
wearing the floaties.
Yeah, and then so that was that. Nothing happened with him.
In kindergarten.
You sure about that? You sure
Kindergarten.
about that? He didn't ask you out?
You know,
I don't know. That sounds like a real romantic
6-year-old
time right
gotta
there.
go back in the diary. But then the next crush was in first grade, I guess. Or, no, I think the Cliffy kid was in preschool. So we
Oh
were
my
like,
God!
God.
Before
Yeah.
school even
You're literally
started.
4 years
Before
old.
K through 12.
Oh.
I know. But anyway, so kindergarten, I like this kid. I'll name him because
This will take 30 minutes for Kelsey only.
Hey, no, his name was Augustine, and I was like obsessed with this kid, like overly obsessed, like clingy.
Calling you out.
That was really bad.
Augustine, come back.
Augustine, no, like I feel like I also told you this.
You single, Augustus?
Remember we
Hey,
did on
she's
the bridge
on
of Payne's
market.
Prairie.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Obviously, the podcasters.
But so I had like this folder, and I would just write his name over and over and over again, and I would show it to him. I would be like, Augustine, look
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
did.
yeah. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
I had no boundaries. I was harassing him, and
I would have been so scared.
he was scared. He hated me. He was like, "Go away."
That is like a movie.
True. But he told the teacher once that I was, I guess, like harassing him because I was. And she came over and she was like, "Kelsey, if you like Augustine, like you can't, like, I guess, like shove it in his face." I don't know what she said. But she was like, "You have to be like kind." And I was like, "Oh, I meant that I just liked him as a friend. Like, I don't know what he's talking about."
Oh,
Kelsey
no.
out here lying.
You're
She's
scheming
lying
at the
in
age
front-
of 6.
Literally.
She's scheming.
This is my life.
What do you mean, teacher? I don't know what
That
you're
was
talking
me. I was
about.
like, "What?"
Oh.
But yeah, he never liked me back. So
That's so unfortunate.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
and then the rest of my life, I just had other crushes on useless people. Those were my main two guys. Am I right?
Oh, snap.
The main two guys in your life, Augustine and other
Cliffy.
dude, Cliffy McJr.
Clifford McJordan.
But those were my first crushes.
Wow.
Well, the swimming one's very cute. The second one, not so much.
The
Yeah.
second one, first
Yeah.
one was cute. Second one was very much the opposite end of that. That was stalker material.
You right?
I'm calling the feds or something like that. All right, what about you, Clark?
Well, like Kelsey said, I didn't have crushes until I was in like middle school or something. I feel, I don't know why. I was just like, it was weird. I remember this kid writing me a note like, "Oh, do you want to go out? Yes or no?" And like I was just looking at it, and I was like, I don't understand. Like, what is this? And yeah, just like random children would like me, and I was like, I don't know, thank you. So yeah,
Chris was a savage.
No, thank you.
I don't
I'm
know.
good.
I just was like, I never liked anyone till later. But yeah, middle school. I've told you guys again this before, but there was these twins, and they looked pretty much exactly the same, and everyone liked them, but I did as well, which was unfortunate because they were like those kids that liked to,
They were players.
Yeah, they kind
Yeah.
of led girls on.
literally in middle school. Again, what's with middle schoolers? Like, how do you even have that ability that young?
Did you like any of them better, like, or did you like both of
That's
them the
what
same?
was funny because like I'm not kidding when I say like most girls in our grade liked them. So a lot of times we would just talk about like liking them. They'd be like, "Oh, which one do you like better?" and like all this stuff.
Did you have one? Did you like T or P?
You like the taller one. You like the taller and the more.
Taller was T, right?
Yeah, and I liked him more.
Really? I liked
I knew it. How'd I know?
P was cute.
He was not very much taller, but he was very. I think he was nicer.
That's true.
It's that
P was
extra
kind of
height, man. It was
the
that extra
player.
inch.
But I had like an obsessive personality. So when I liked someone, I like was obsessive about it to the
Augustine?
point where it was. I mean, I wrote
Hashtag Augustine.
I wrote their names in a folder. Definitely, I did that. I didn't show them.
Yeah.
Oh snap!
Yeah, it was really annoying. Like, I would like look forward to going to school just so I could see them, and then if one of them wasn't there, I would be very upset.
Yo, middle school
That's
was
relatable.
middle school was a weird time. People
I
did
only
some
went to
weird
school-
stuff, man.
To see, like, that's stupid.
You're right.
And then I got there, and I'd be very upset.
Yeah,
It
she
was
go to
awful.
school and be like, man, I didn't come here for education.
I'm not even
the
joking.
I came here for the twins.
Or like I would wear stuff on specific days, like be like, oh, I see them.
I know that they're gonna pass by me between third and fourth period, so let me just wear this outfit.
Honestly, true. But
yeah, it's relatable.
Oh man.
poor me, never had a chance. But yeah, it was also it was like a roller coaster of emotions because all these girls liked them, and like I took everything I overanalyzed everything. Like at lunch, if I saw them like sitting with someone, I was like, wow, day ruined. So I was just dramatic
Wow,
child.
wow. Just look at it. Oh man, yeah, they're totally going for those people.
I was so
Got no
dramatic.
chance.
Thought that was me.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, it was maybe it's because it was so much later in life that it was like so intense instead of like, oh, cute crush. It was like, this is upsetting and not fun.
No, I felt that way like my entire life. With
Yeah.
every crush, I was just like,
It's weird how that affects you so much though.
it does.
Like even in high school, if I had crushes, I would be obsessive over it for no
Yeah.
reason. And I would just like, every time I saw them, I would like analyze who they're with. And you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Marcus is like looking at us like we're crazy. Because Mark, I feel like you're laid back about everything though. You'd be
I
like,
mean, in general, I'm pretty laid back about it.
but yeah, go ahead, because that was kind of it for me.
Yeah, sure. So, I remember back in middle school, I didn't have any crushes till really like the end of middle school / high school.
Y'all are so weird.
But man,
We were out of
you
the
the
womb.
you the one out here talking about Augustine. Get out of here.
Listen,
But yeah, so back in middle school, I think there's one girl who said that I liked her, but I didn't. You know, I just didn't have a crush on her, but she kept saying I did, which was really weird. And that was it with that. And then in elementary school, there's this one girl, and she said we were on this bus field trip or whatever, and so like we're on the bus, and then she was talking. She was like, I think you'd be a good boyfriend, and I was like, okay. I mean, I had no liking for her. I just thought she was a good friend. And then she was like, yeah, but, and here's the weird part. It's like the story takes a twist. But she was like, yeah, we couldn't ever date because, my parents, they don't like black people. I was like, wait,
Oh.
what? Yeah, so that was a very strange time.
That's okay. It should have not ended up anyways. I feel.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely wouldn't have worked out if, her parents, don't like black people. So, but yeah, it was funny. Anyway, high school was when I really had crushes. There's this one girl. This was my senior year. This was the end of my senior year.
ooh.
I mean, I probably had other crushes too, but like, this is one I can actually remember. So this girl, she was really cute, really cool, really smart. I mean, everything was cool about her, and I had a crush on her. And that was it. That's the end of the story.
Wait, you can't even like dramatize anything.
That was the end of the
Dramatize?
story.
Traumatized.
Dramatize?
I mean,
don't
like,
know.
I didn't really take anything too crazy about it. Like, I remember I got her number one day, and I would talk to her every now and then. But I mean, I didn't really go for her.
Okay, this reminds me though. Did you guys ever associate like songs with like your crush?
Sometimes. yes.
Like, so I've always loved music, and I never really listened to radio that much, even like in high school, like or middle. Well, no, that's too far back. But I like would play the same song over and over and be
Yeah.
just so sad. I'd be like,
you
this
just think about
relatable.
them.
Oh
You like
my
picture like
gosh.
scenarios that will never ever happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not do
I feel
that.
so judged by Marcus though. Like I can't
Me
do
too.
this.
I
We
feel
need
like it's
another
like a-
girl.
Yeah, it's like a girl thing.
Yeah, let's.
It's upsetting.
Well, this makes me sad though because I feel like guys would always like act like they weren't like that, but they would do the same thing. But I guess not.
I mean,
Marcus
I'm
doesn't have
an
feelings.
oddball. I'm an oddball. All right, so I don't count.
But also, guys looked at crushes, I think, way more like annoyingly, like with their friends.
Oh.
Like I feel like it wasn't an emotional thing for them. It was
It's
like,
like
oh, you're
lust.
with this girl. Yeah,
And like power. And,
yeah, like status.
yeah.
Yeah, some guys are like that.
Most guys. I hate
Well, like
guys.
in school too. I think that was a big thing.
Yes.
But okay, so let's turn this into advice. So like, if someone had a crush on you, you didn't reciprocate it, but they kept kind of coming back. They kept texting you, kind of not leaving you alone. Like, how would you go about making them back off? And you go to school with them, so you kind of see them often.
But they like you, but you don't like them.
yes.
Oh, okay.
What
Ghost
you
them.
got? Ghost them.
No. You see them every day.
Ghost them anyway.
All right. well.
No, I think we had advice before, like don't ghost people, or do ghost people. I don't know what we said. Go back and watch
That was like
episode.
Tinder though.
Yeah.
Consider ghosting people.
But no, I remember I did do that, and I feel like I've brought this up again a lot. But there's this kid who rode my bus. It's always the bus. But no, I liked him, and then he liked me back, and I stopped liking him, which happens with like everybody who ever likes me back, because
What?
I just freak out, and I'm just like, nope, see ya.
Actually, no, that's happened to me too. Like getting the reciprocated feelings actually like
Yeah, 'cause
freaked me out.
Yeah, it's like
That
scary.
back when I was like,
it's
like,
kind of
really
not what
younger.
you like are envisioning. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it's better in your
it's-
head.
Yeah, it's
than
all the
in
hype, and then
reality.
Yep.
it actually happens. You're
Yeah.
like, wait, I'm not ready for
Yeah,
this.
you're like, oh. But no, this kid liked me back, and I stopped liking him. And I kind of was like a jerk to him. Like I did see him every day, but I would like ignore him. And I remember we were waiting for the bus one day, and I was talking to my friend, and he came up, and he was like, "Hey, Kelsey, whatever, blah blah blah, hi." And I just like turned away, and I was like, "So anyway, friend that I'm with."
Wow.
I know, and I still feel bad about it today.
How
Like,
could you
I
be
feel
so
awful.
heartless?
I was the bully, guys.
No, I did stuff like that before.
God.
But
dang.
it's so sad though, like especially because he was a friend first of all, and then I started liking him, and then he liked me back, and I was like,
Dang.
no, I'm gonna ruin this relationship forever, and so I still feel bad.
That's hilarious, though.
But yeah, so you shouldn't do that. I
Yeah,
don't
definitely
think.
don't do what Kelsey did.
But I mean, if you don't like somebody back, I don't know, tell them, but like gently maybe, or I don't know.
Yeah, I had this kid that liked me a lot in middle school, and like he was very nice, and everyone thought he was nice, but like he was also quiet. But it was just like so draining on me because this is probably how other people felt when I had crushes on True. But if I had a crush on someone, I wouldn't tell them first of all. But
Yeah,
anyways,
see?
this kid like I forget all this. He like wrote me notes and like texted me all the time, and I just really did not care.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was like, all right, whatever, for a little bit of time. And then after a while, like I would stop responding here and there or take longer. This is bad advice, but I never did it directly. But I feel like if someone likes you and you don't like them, like, especially if they approach you with this information, you really need to stop it immediately and like not brush it off, because then it's just going to get worse.
Mhm.
And it does get worse usually. So, yeah, I think, and also like people take stuff really strange ways. Like even though it's not fair, a lot of guys in particular, like, well, I guess either way, if you talk to them for a long period of time, they think it means something else.
Mhm.
So maybe just try and control that friendship and not talk to them as much, or kind of keep it more civil, or like text, just do it for like schoolwork or something, which like kind of sucks your friendship. But if they don't want to have friendship anymore, but just like a relationship, then that's kind of what you have to do, I think.
Yeah, like you don't owe them anything, and I think a lot of guys, and Marcus used to be this way, would like refer to the friend zone, like just because.
What? I never said anybody owes me for
Freshman
anything.
year, friend zone, remember that video?
Of course.
Changed your
Friend
life.
zone, you mention the friend zone all the time.
I mean, there is a friend zone. I'm not saying that
No.
anybody owes you for putting you there.
No. But yeah, like people, like guys will be like, oh, you're my friend, we get along, like obviously something's happening here, but you're like, no, and then they're like, we're in the friend zone. But
I mean,
it's
that's
like,
exactly what it is. Like, you're like, I don't like you like that. And they're like, all right, so I am now just your friend. Or like, I'm still your friend, but like, you have caused me to stay in this zone where we're only going to be friends. Like,
I
that's
get
all
that.
it is.
I get that, but like saying it's a zone is like, I don't know, it's inherently bad.
Because
like,
it also sounds like you think you're gonna get out of it, as in.
I mean,
like,
it's like he wanted to get out of it. Like, he wanted to be
but
more
when
than
you
a
don't
friend.
get out of it, you're just gonna say you're in the friend zone and like ruin your friendship almost, like by labeling it like that. Like, oh, you rejected me. Well, now I'm in the friend zone forever.
Yeah, you definitely shouldn't tell the person that you're interested in, like, oh, okay, I'm in this friend zone, I guess. Like, that's not condoned at all. I do not recommend that.
you just shouldn't think of it like that. Like it should just
Because
be.
then it's like ruining your friendship.
I mean, it's essentially just, saying, okay, so we're just friends without saying it, or just saying it in a different way.
You don't got to say it anyway. You're just like, okay, that happened.
Like, you're just like, oh, I like you. And she's like, oh, I don't. But we can stay friends. And then you're like, okay. And you're like, okay,
Friend
we're
zone.
friends. That's a friend zone.
I feel
you're
like
in
friend
the
zone just has like a bitter connotation. Like if you're in the friend zone, you're bitter because you
I mean-
are in that zone.
I mean, that's only understandable, though, right? Because, like, you wanted to be with this person and then they reject you. Like, how would you not be somewhat sad or bitter about it?
I don't know.
You're not going to be happy. So you got to be somewhat sad.
Well, yeah, but you could just accept it.
Look, these are emotional wounds, Kelsey. These things take time.
Are they? Because you don't have feelings.
Miss Augustine, all right?
Hey.
That's his first name, but that doesn't make sense.
Doesn't matter. I don't know his last name. What's his last name?
I don't remember.
Well, let's not say it.
It's Augustin. Augustin.
Augustine. I want to look him up, but I don't know his last name.
I mean,
can
I
do
think
that on your
that's
own
I
time.
think that's a
Sure.
pretty unique name. I think you'll be able to find him.
Nah, I've looked before.
Hey.
I go back and look at a lot of people. There's this one kid I liked in 3rd grade, and he played football, and he was Italian. And I looked him up recently, and he's very short.
Well, that's a great story.
Yeah.
Also, I think
it's an amazing story.
nothing. Never mind.
All right.
But where were we? I
Sorry,
don't
we were
even know.
talking about
Who knows what
Friend
we're talking
zone.
about.
So, what would you do, Marcus? I don't know if you actually answered.
Okay, so first off, if somebody likes me and I don't like them back, most times what's going to happen, at least from my experience, is like they're going to be constantly trying to contact me because they want to establish communication, you know? So it's like if they're trying to contact me, like I'll contact them, but then like you want to make sure that you you want to make sure that you talk very civilly. Like you don't talk to give them any funny ideas, to make sure that they, you know, don't think, hey, like this guy's interested, stuff like that. Like don't, like if you know that they like you and you don't like them, like don't just be overly flirtatious and stuff like that. It's just not the good move. But then like if you like somebody and they're not reciprocating it, yo, you just gotta kind of back off, man, because like it's, you know, it's gonna be awkward. Like they think it's awkward and they're just trying not to make it awkward for you. And so the best thing to do is just back off. And it's going to hurt because, you know, you like them. But that's just what you got to do.
Yeah, I don't think you should try to like force them to like you because that's not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
happen.
No forcing, man. It all has to be natural. Well, at least
Yeah.
it should be natural.
And like maybe at least like if you still want a chance, like you can just be their friend and like hope maybe someday they'll change their mind. But yeah, you shouldn't be like, you should like me and here's why and blah blah blah. Like don't be that person.
Has that happened to you?
No.
Sound like you're talking from experience, Mona.
Nah, I can just picture it.
What about you, Clark?
When someone like really wants me to like them,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm not direct, so like, I don't know. It could be me like not saying no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I just try to avoid situations like that because I felt so awkward about it. So they would just take things that I did as liking them back and then be like, oh, do you want to go out? I'm like, no, actually. So no one like forced me, but it was like, I just let it get too far.
I mean, like, that's the weird part about infatuation and crushes and stuff. This guy in a song said, loving eyes cannot see. And I totally believe that because if you were to look at it from a logical standpoint or from, like, an outsider's view, like, the interactions that you'd have with a crush or that a crush would have with you, like, they're probably, like, extremely platonic, like, extremely nothing. Like, nothing's happening.
Which is so sad, though.
And then, you know, you're analyzing it as the guy who, or the girl who's got the crush. And you're like, oh my God, yeah, they said this, they said that. Oh my God, like, you know, maybe I got a chance and stuff like that. And it's like, come on. It's really not like that at all. But you just can't tell because, you know, you're just starstruck.
Yeah, I think that's what Kirsten was talking about. Like crushes get so intense and you read into like every little thing. But in reality, like sometimes you got to step back and look at it from that logical standpoint and be like, do they really like me? Or is this how they treat like other people? Or is it just like platonic, like you said?
Yeah. And
I
that
would-
happened to me.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying that happened to me. You know, like I had this crush on that girl. Same girl I was telling you about earlier, you know. And I was like, you know, does she like me back? And then, you know, you like really think about it. It's like, I mean, definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, you know, she's like, you know, very nice person and like she'll always be my friend. But like, you know, she just wasn't interested in me that way. So that's how we kept it as friends.
Okay, so how about if you have a crush and they don't like you back? Or did we kind of
We covered it a little, but I don't know.
Well, okay, for me, like I like this guy in like 10th grade, and again, obsessive me, but so I was so dramatic. Like I annoyed myself. Like it was coming towards the end of the year, so I was like, oh my gosh, I won't see him all summer. Like, should I tell him I like him? It's gonna be, what if I wait all summer and I don't know if he likes me back? So I was like, okay, I'll just do it. So like I literally planned this out last day of school, like after school. Like I was like, the day before I was like, okay, I'll just tell him at school, but I'd never had the guts to do that. So I texted him, was all this huge thing, like, hey, like you, but if you don't, it's okay, you know, like.
Secondhand
Oh man.
Listen, I am
No,
embarrassed too.
it's relatable.
Nah, it's cute. It's cute.
No, it's not cute. It's terrible. Like I was too much. But he didn't like me back, so like I was like, wow, this is the worst thing of my life. But obviously got over it.
That's rough.
So I guess one way to get over a crush that's like painful, but like you get over it is just being like, hey, I like you. What do you like me? And then you just see if they do or not.
Yeah.
Ugh,
And then if it doesn't work out,
You
rebound.
cry for a few days and then you move on.
See, I could never get myself to do that. Like, I think ever since Augustine like
oh
changed me.
my lord.
Ever since that, like, I never admitted to any boy ever that I liked them. And I've had so many crushes, and I've just kept them in. I never told, like, even my friends. I was just like, nope.
That's true. I
my
never
secret.
told my friends like most of my crushes either.
Yeah, I feel like it was, like, kind of embarrassing. Because it's like, oh, I like this guy. And it's like,
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, I don't know. Like, if you have the guts to do that, maybe it'll turn out okay. But I would never.
Wait, you never even told your friends that you had crushes on people?
No.
Dang.
Nope.
Just not my experience. Like, I mean, I told my friend, at least my close friends, like, all my crushes. I mean, most of them were reciprocated by them. Like, they like the same people.
That's all.
Again, I feel like that's a big. Well, girls do that too, but guys are automatically tell. Like, I feel like in high school it was like this huge dramatic thing. Like, who likes who?
Yeah.
It was also interesting. Like, a lot of people were like, yeah, you know, I like this person, so you got to like that person or whatever. Like, man, like who you like. It's all about your feelings, man. It's all
Yeah,
about your
true. It would be
feelings.
very competitive.
Also, though, I hated how, like, if you had a friend who was just happened to be the opposite sex or whatever, like, people would assume you're together and they would, like, kind of make fun of it. But, like, I don't know, I feel like it took a toll on some relationships where it's like, you just want to be, like, friendly with this person and, like, you are friends with the person, but somebody else is, like, you know, hollering at you, like, ooh, like, kiss, like, are you guys together? It's just very annoying.
Yeah, that happened a lot. Like, literally, if you just, even in high school, like, this guy sat behind me and I was just friends with him. Like, he was really cool. And then everyone asked him if he liked me and stuff like that. And it was like, it made it like sad almost because like, it made it like awkward, even
Yes.
though it didn't even involve us, it involved other people. And they just like weirdly wanted one person to like the other just so it was like drama for them to watch or something.
Yeah. It's terrible.
I feel you. I think that just always happens in high school. It's just something weird. It happens sometimes in college too. Like, people will be hanging out and then people are just like, wow, like, you know, I totally ship you guys just because you guys
Ship.
hang out, you know. It's
I
like,
can't believe Marcus said that word.
yeah, I said it.
Nah, yeah, that happens too. Like, it's, I don't know. I feel like almost some relationships are just, they happen just because like everyone's friends around them are like, you guys are so cool together.
It's true.
Yeah, some
like,
relationships
"Oh,
definitely
alright."
start from peer pressure,
Yep.
peer influence.
I feel like that happened to me in like my first year of middle school. Like, I was very good friends with this guy and like very good friends. Like, we would be together all the time in school. And then all these people were like, wow, you guys must like each other. I'm like, no, not really. But for some reason we started dating because I feel like it was just everyone around us was like saying that, which is funny.
Just tends to happen.
and then they lived happily ever
No,
after.
that lasted like 3 weeks.
Hey,
Good old middle school.
All right,
that's a long
so
time
yeah,
for middle
should-
school.
we're at 53 minutes. Should we do the last segment? Or
I think we can quickly do it.
all right, let's quickly move on to segment 3. Go ahead, Kelsey.
Yeah. All right. So segment 3 is just kind of a general question. So what should you guys do if you feel jealous in your friend group?
This is
Humada.
easy.
Go ahead, Marcos.
Yeah, just dump your friends and get a new squad. That easy.
There you go. Problem solved. Wrapping up the podcast.
Yep. Wrap it up, baby.
See, that's the worst feeling though. Like, we talked about this before about Snapchat and stuff, but like seeing people you really thought you were close with the friend group, you're always going to get invited, and you're not. And you see it on social media or something, and it's very like, it makes you jealous. I think for me is like, as I've grown older, I've realized like sometimes like people in a friend group can hang out by themselves, and it's not like a diss to the other people. It's just like, it's just like becoming better friends with each other, and you know what I mean? Like, if it happens all the time, that's kind of, you know, but if it's like two best friends of a group, that makes sense. But like, you have to give people space in a friend group and be better friends with each other individually, so as a group you can come together, I think.
Yeah, I think that can still be hard though, like if other people in the group do hang out, because it's like, I don't know, for some reason it feels very personal, even though it's totally not.
Yeah.
And I think you have to like kind of think through that and be like, am I being rational or irrational here? And oftentimes you're probably being irrational, unless your friends are jerks, and then you should do what Marcus said and get rid of them.
It's just dump them.
Dump
New
'em.
squad.
And it depends on like the situation of did they invite you or like if they totally didn't tell you about it. I think that's that's pretty hard.
Right.
And maybe look into like why didn't they invite you or how close are you guys actually kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if they invited you and you just can't or you're just doing something else, it still hurts because you're like, oh, I'm not a part of that, and you see all the fun they're having and stuff. But at the same time, you're like, okay, I made this choice. Like I'm doing something else. I don't have to hang out with them every single time they all hang out as well.
Right. I think this can also be tough, like, if you're trying to get into a new friend group or, like, you're trying to just form friends. Like, if you're kind of on the outside and you can't, like, squeeze your way in, or you're like, why are these people, like, hanging out without me, and, like, do they not like me? And I think oftentimes that can be the case. And
Yeah, can be.
yeah. And I think last semester, there was, like, a crew that did hang out, and I was like, oh, I can kind of join these guys. And I went to this party.
You went to a party without me, Kelsey?
Yep, sorry.
Wow.
But
I'm
no,
offended.
it was awful. I basically like sat on the couch, like people, like they spoke to me at first, like just to greet me, but then they were just like, okay, whatever, this girl's gonna do her thing, and I was like, I don't know. I tried to like talk to them, but it just didn't work out, and I realized I was like, hey, these people are probably not, my friend material, and I can go back to my other cool friends.
Yeah, trying to ditch us for your new squad. Yeah, it didn't work out, huh? Didn't work out, did
Marcus, we're talking about not being jealous.
True, Marcus. Marcus is being jealous in the friend group.
No, but that's a good thing too. Is talk about is like, I don't know. I feel like some people, like even for me, I try so hard sometimes. Like a new friend group, like it's scary because they're established already, and you're friends with one of them usually, and then they're like, oh, come join us, and it's like, you can already tell sometimes just a few people in the friend group are like, oh, who's this,
Yep.
But and then sometimes it can turn better, but sometimes it's just like it's awkward the whole time and they ignore you. Like if people start out when they first get to know you ignoring you, the relationship's probably not going to go anywhere.
Yep.
So if you find yourself in somewhere like that, I would say don't worry about it and just move on. But if you join a new friend group and like there's at least, let's say your friend that you've met is really nice to you, trying to talk to you the whole time, and like her friends are not. Like just be friends with that one person then. You don't have to like be in this group all the time if you don't like the other people.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of the best friendships are just like relationships. Like it happens like naturally. So if you're trying to force yourself into a relationship or a friendship, it's probably not going to work out.
Yeah.
So best thing to do is just, you're trying to be with somebody, or you're trying to be friends with this person. Like if it works, like if it's just flowing all naturally and it works nicely, it's gonna work, But if you're like forcing yourself in, or they're forcing themselves in, and you can tell it's one-sided, I mean, just leave it alone. It's not gonna work.
So really quick, what if you're an established friend group, it's going well, all that, and then someone new comes in and they like sort of replace you, they invite them more than you, stuff like that. What do you think?
This one's rough. Like I don't know if I've actually, yeah, I have had this happen to me also in middle school.
I was
We're
gonna
talking
say,
about the
yeah.
old days, yeah. That ended really poorly. Like I was friends with this one girl, I'll call her Muffy, and then Muffalita, like we were all kind of friends, but then those two kind of like drifted off. But originally it was me and a different girl and Muffy, and Muffy, like I was the replacement in that situation. So like I could.
So it was a change she did. Like she always did that.
Yes, it
Okay.
was like a repeated thing. But I think ultimately, like now I'm friends with the other girl she replaced me with, and not that girl. So like, bye, girl.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Buffy.
Bye, Muffy. So I don't know. I think in those situations, like you just have to realize the person who is replacing you, like you can kind of confront them. But if it's like they're purposefully
Confront them.
like address it to them, be like, hey, like this is kind of upsetting. Like, do you still like me? I don't know. Don't be desperate, but
Do you still like me?
Mark.
I know. But like, just
I'm
like
glad.
talk about it. But otherwise, like that person, if they are trying to replace you like on purpose, like they should not be your friend.
Yeah, I actually thinking about it too. I've kind of had something similar where it wasn't a friend group like you said, but it was just like one person I was really, really close with, like great friends. And then they met someone new randomly who was really cool. Like us three would kind of hang out here and there, but she would spend a lot more time with the other person than me. And it's like very upsetting because you're like, okay, I thought we had this established thing. Like, where are we now kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. After that, I kind of try to keep I was still friends with them, but I still try to keep them a little bit more of a distance because it's like, okay, I can see like you meet someone new and you don't really keep your old friends as close.
Yeah.
So, I think, if they find a new friend, maybe you go find a new friend too. Like, don't, best friends aren't like end all be all. It's really nice to have really close friends for a long time that you can trust, and you start building that when you're older. But like in high school and stuff, if you have this one best friend, like don't be afraid to go find someone else if they did the same thing to you.
Yeah, and I think, again, kind of like on the whole relationship thing that we mentioned, like, in friendships, like, also nobody owes you anything. Like, obviously there should be some loyalty there, but, like, people are allowed to explore outside the friendship. Like, people can have other friends, and you can still be just as important, and I think that's important to think about.
Yeah.
But also, like, I agree with that, but just the replacing thing.
Yeah,
I
if
think
they're
is
replacing you, it's different, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like, if they're replacing you and, like, not even speaking to you anymore, like, distancing themselves, then it's like, all right, I see you, we gotta deal with this. But otherwise, like, if they're just, like, hanging out one day with their friend and they're not with you, then I think that's fine.
Yeah, for sure.
I think even if it's like, a somewhat extended period of time where they're hanging out with this new friend, I mean, I wouldn't be too mad about it just because, sure, I'd be a little jealous. But I mean, at the same time, like when you make a new friend and like, it's all clicking, like you guys are clicking. I mean, I could totally understand people being like, yo, I want to hang out with this guy a lot because, he's a new face and, he's a natural dude. And like, I could just see that, like, I could see that being like some kind of adrenaline rush, kind of like a new relationship, like you're in the new relationship and it's like you just start hanging out like just with them.
Right.
Even though, there's no real reason to do that. So I can see that happening. But at the same time, like, if he's, the friend is like really cool, seems like you would have a great time hanging out with the new friend and your old friend. So
true.
But yeah, don't take it too seriously until you see him like really knocking you out the picture.
Yeah. I agree.
And in that case, knock them out the picture before they can knock you out.
True.
Got him.
You feel me?
Get them back.
Get them, son.
Yeah,
That was some sound advice.
Stop it. But yeah, in some situations, you should just be like, hey, I feel left out. What's up? Why is this happening?
Because we had a friend recently. She said she met this friend studying abroad. They became really close, and her other friend. I'm sorry. So she met this girl Muffy, and Muffy's friends started getting really jealous because Muffy was hanging. Okay, let's start this over. We have Muffalita, right? She meets his friend study abroad Muffy, and Muffy's friend getting really jealous because Muffy's hanging out with Muffalita a lot more than usual because they just met. So Muffy invites Muffalita and her friend over, like, oh, movie night. Okay, we can all be civil here and all get together. And then Muffy's friend starts yelling at Muffy, like, why do you always spend time with this girl? Like, in front of Muffalita. Wow.
Yo, she confronted this chick.
But yeah, she's confronting her in this girl's house she doesn't even know.
She called her out.
She's confronting her, saying, like, wow, you don't hang out with me anymore, blah, blah, blah. So, like, and they got in this huge fight in front of Muffalita, which obviously made them both look terrible. So don't be fighting like that. Just approach it civilly, be chill.
Don't be abrasive.
Nobody fighting.
That is insane, though. I mean, I could never imagine, like, confronting somebody like that.
Yeah, she said she just sat back and, like, watched in awe because it was, like, so strange, and it was in her apartment.
Yeah,
And
that's just weird.
She barely
That's
knew this girl.
comfortable.
That's
Yeah.
just weird, man.
But yeah, just if you're jealous, do something about it. Very deep.
That's some sound advice.
All right, and with that, I think we're done.
Yo, we better name this episode Augustine.
No.
Oh,
We
that's
are naming this-
amazing.
we're naming
People are
this
gonna be like, "What
Augustine.
is this word?"
I kind of like that, actually.
That's awful.
Name
It
this
should be
episode.
hashtag Augustine.
Yeah. Hashtag Augustine.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm Kelsey.
I'm Marcus.
And I'm Kirsten.
All right. See you guys.
Catch you later.
Peace.
Bye.